Hexane, a chemical solvent used to strip paint and degrease industrial engines. It is also the chemical most sunflower oil companies use to extract the oil sitting in your kitchen right now. But pour the wrong sunflower oil into your pan, and what you are really cooking with is chemical solvent residues, pre-oxidized fats, and free radicals disguised as a heart-healthy kitchen staple. If this has been your go-to cooking oil for 10 or 20 years, everything we are about to reveal has been accumulating in your body that entire time. Today, we are exposing 11 sunflower oil brands that failed to earn your trust, including some that faced federal lawsuits and FDA warning letters, plus the 2 brands that actually passed the test. Coming in at number 11. Wesson. That tall, familiar bottle has been a pantry staple for decades. Your parents probably cooked with it. You probably grew up eating food fried in it. Wesson feels like a brand that has been around long enough to trust. Then the lawyers got involved. Wesson's parent company was hit with a class action lawsuit for slapping 100% natural on bottles that contained genetically modified ingredients. Not a labeling technicality, a deliberate choice to print the word natural on a product that did not meet any reasonable definition of the term. The company has since changed corporate hands multiple times. ConAgra sold it to Richardson International. New owners, new management, same supply chain questions. Every ownership change raises a question most consumers never think to ask. Who is actually watching the quality now? Crack the seal on a bottle of Wesson sunflower oil. That faint chemical edge beneath the neutral smell. That is what industrial refining leaves behind. High heat processing and hexane extraction strip away the beneficial compounds, the vitamin E, the natural antioxidants, everything that made sunflower oil sound healthy in the first place. What remains is a concentrated dose of omega-6 fatty acids with almost nothing to balance them. For anyone managing joint pain or stiffness with daily anti-inflammatories, or families cooking every dinner in this oil, a heavy omega-6 load works directly against the relief those medications are designed to provide. Chronic inflammation does not announce itself. It builds quietly, meal after meal, year after year. Wesson built a brand on affordability and familiarity. They kept the price low and the marketing high. What they stripped out was the only thing that mattered. If the brand your parents trusted was hiding behind a lawsuit, surely the biggest retailer in America would do better. Not a chance. Number 10. Great value. Walmart's store brand sunflower oil is one of the most purchased cooking oils in the country. Millions of shoppers reach for it every week because the price is right and the Walmart name feels safe. Behind that blue label is a sourcing operation most customers will never see. Great value cooking oils come from multiple rotating suppliers. The manufacturer printed on the bottle this month may not be the same one next month. Walmart has faced criticism for inadequate third-party testing on its private label food products, and the sunflower oil line is no exception. There is no published certificate of analysis, no transparency about which farms grow the seeds, no public record of pesticide or heavy metal testing on the finished product. Pour it into a pan. Watch how quickly it smokes at temperatures that should be safe. That low smoke point is a sign of an oil that has already been stressed by processing before it ever reached your stove. The color is pale, almost watery. Fresh, minimally processed sunflower oil has a warm golden hue and a faint nutty scent. Great value has neither. For people relying on cholesterol medication or daily blood pressure pills, or anyone using this as their everyday cooking oil, consuming a heavily refined omega-6 dominant oil at every meal can counteract the anti-inflammatory benefits those prescriptions are designed to deliver. You are paying for medicine with one hand and undoing it with the other. Walmart moves 240 million customers through its doors every week. That is 240 million people who deserve to know where their cooking oil actually comes from. Great value promises savings. It does not promise safety. Think heritage brands are more careful? Think again. Number 9. Krisco. For over a century, Krisco has been the name American families associate with frying and baking. Grandmothers passed down Krisco recipes like heirlooms. The brand carries generations of emotional weight. That weight does not make the oil any cleaner. Krisco sunflower oil is industrially refined using high-heat processing and chemical solvent extraction with hexane. Hexane is a neurotoxin classified by the EPA as a hazardous air pollutant. In the extraction process, sunflower seeds are soaked in hexane to pull out maximum oil yield. The solvent is then supposed to be completely removed. Supposed to be. Trace residues can remain in the finished product, and no federal regulation requires companies to test or disclose hexane residue levels in cooking oils sold to consumers. That regulatory gap is wide enough to drive a tanker truck through. Meanwhile, the aggressive refining strips away the vitamin E and antioxidants that give sunflower oil its health reputation. What you pour into your skillet is an inflammatory fat with none of the protective compounds that made you choose sunflower oil in the first place. 100 years of trust. 100 years of hexane. Open the bottle. That flat, almost plasticky smell is not neutral. It is empty. Everything beneficial has been processed out of existence. For anyone with compromised kidney function trying to eat cleaner, or families feeding this to children at every meal, trace chemical contaminants from solvent extraction put extra strain on organs already working overtime to filter what modern life throws at them. Krisco sold your grandmother a story about wholesome cooking. They are still selling you that exact same story today. If a century-old brand uses chemical solvents, at least a brand that calls itself heart-friendly would be transparent about what is inside. It is not. Number 8. Sunella. The name sounds clean. The marketing says light and heart-friendly, the kind of language designed to make health-conscious shoppers feel confident, dropping it into the cart without a second thought. But try to find out what is actually inside the bottle and you hit a wall. Sunella provides almost no public information about where their sunflower seeds are sourced. No details on refining methods. No mention of whether any independent laboratory has ever tested the finished product. No certificates of analysis. No third-party verification of any kind. In an industry where transparency is the bare minimum for earning trust, Sunella offers silence. That silence should be deafening. When a brand hides everything about how its product is made, you are not buying cooking oil. You are buying faith in a label, and faith does not filter out oxidation byproducts or chemical residues. Pour it into a hot pan. Without knowing the refining process, you cannot know the smoke point, the oxidative stability, or what compounds are forming when heat hits that oil. What you smell when it heats is a question mark, not confidence. For people managing blood sugar levels carefully, or anyone who chose this oil specifically because the label implied it was the healthier option, consuming oil with unknown oxidation levels can accelerate insulin resistance without a single warning on the bottle. Heart-friendly on the label, a blank page where the science should be. Sunella asks you to trust them. They have given you absolutely zero reasons to do so. You would think a brand with healthy in the name would at least try harder. Number 7. Healthy Harvest. The name alone does the marketing. Healthy. Harvest. 2 words that conjure images of golden fields and wholesome farming. 2 words that have absolutely nothing to do with what is inside the bottle. Healthy Harvest is a conventionally refined sunflower oil with no organic certification, no published lab results, and no evidence of lower oxidation byproducts or chemical residues compared to any generic brand on the shelf. The name is the product. The oil is an afterthought. Look at the label closely. No USDA organic seal, no non-GMO project verification, no third-party testing badge of any kind. Just a name engineered to make you feel good about buying it. And it works. 63% of consumers believe a product labeled natural or healthy has been tested for safety. It has not. That gap between perception and reality is where brands like Healthy Harvest build their entire business model. Open the bottle and sniff. That flat, odorless profile is not a sign of purity. It is a sign of aggressive refining that has stripped every identifying characteristic from the oil. A fresh, expeller-pressed sunflower oil smells faintly of seeds, almost nutty. Healthy Harvest smells like nothing because nothing beneficial is left inside. For people already dealing with elevated LDL cholesterol, or families trying to make smarter choices at the grocery store, a refined high omega-6 oil disguised as something healthy accelerates arterial plaque buildup while the buyer feels virtuous. That is the cruelest trick in the grocery aisle, making you sicker while you think you are getting healthier. Healthy on the label, inflammation in the bottle. Drop a comment if you have ever bought a cooking oil just because the name sounded healthy. Let us see how many of us fell for the same trick. A brand does not need a fancy name to fool you. Sometimes the price tag alone is enough. Number 6. Luana. Walk into a dollar store or a budget grocery chain in the South. Luana is right there on the shelf. The cheapest sunflower oil option in the store. For anyone stretching a fixed income, that low price is powerful. It feels like a smart decision. It is not. Luana oils have been found to contain blends or carry vague labeling about what is actually in the bottle and how it was processed. The company does not publish certificates of analysis, no third-party purity reports for its sunflower oil line, no public testing data of any kind. When a product costs this little, something was cut. The question is what? And the answer is everything that would make the oil worth buying. Twist off the cap. That slightly stale, almost papery scent. Cheap sunflower oil that has been sitting in clear plastic bottles under fluorescent warehouse lights degrades before you ever open it. Light is one of the primary drivers of oil oxidation. Clear bottles are the cheapest to produce. Coincidence does not explain it. For people on daily heart medication managing chronic conditions, or anyone cooking every meal in the most affordable oil they can find, chronic consumption of heavily processed omega-6 saturated oil is associated with elevated C-reactive protein levels. That is a direct inflammatory marker. In adults over 50, elevated CRP directly correlates with increased heart attack and stroke risk. The price is low. The cost is your cardiovascular system. Luane built a brand on being affordable. They never bothered building it on being safe. If this helps you make safer choices at the store, hit subscribe. It is free and it means you will never miss these investigations. If budget brands cut every corner, at least brands with strong cultural loyalty would protect the people who trust them most. Wrong. Number 5. Nutrioli. In Hispanic communities across the South and Southwest, Nutrioli is a kitchen staple. It is passed down through families. Abuela used it. Mom used it. Now you use it. That kind of loyalty runs deep. And it is being exploited. Nutrioli has faced scrutiny from consumer watchdog groups in Mexico for discrepancies between what the label claims and what laboratory analysis actually found in the fatty acid profile. The label tells one story, the chemistry tells another, and the products sold in American grocery stores offer limited traceability back to any specific facility. You cannot follow the oil back to a specific growing region, a specific pressing operation, or a specific quality control checkpoint. The chain of custody disappears into shadow. Taste it side by side with a cold-pressed sunflower oil. Nutrioli is thin, almost watery on the tongue. There is no richness, no depth, no seed character. It tastes like it has been processed into anonymity, because it has been. For people taking blood-thinning medications like warfarin who need consistent and predictable fat intake, or families cooking traditional recipes every single day in this oil, an oil with unreliable composition can unpredictably alter how those medications are absorbed and metabolized in your body. That is not a minor inconvenience. That is a medical risk hiding inside a familiar bottle on a trusted shelf. 3 generations of loyalty. 3 generations of unanswered questions. Nutrioli rides on family trust. Trust is not a substitute for laboratory results. The next brand charges premium prices at a premium store, and it delivers a generic product. Number 4. 365 by Whole Foods. The green label, the clean fonts, the Whole Foods promise of something better. This is the oil people reach for when they have decided to spend more because they believe spending more means eating safer. That belief is costing them money without delivering any additional protection. 365 brand oils are not made by Whole Foods. They are produced by contract manufacturers, the same third-party facilities that produce oils for brands on other shelves in other stores at half the price. A 2020 Consumer Reports investigation found that several store-brand cooking oils, including those sold at premium grocers, did not consistently outperform budget options in purity testing. Premium shelf. Generic product. Double the price for identical results. The same omega-6 heavy inflammatory profile as the bottles that cost half as much, sitting on the shelf 3 aisles over. Open a bottle of 365 sunflower oil next to the great value bottle from Walmart. Compare the color. Compare the smell. Compare the viscosity between your fingers. The difference is the packaging and the neighborhood the store sits in. The oil inside tells the same disappointing story. For people paying more because they believe they are actively protecting their cardiovascular health, or anyone who trusts a premium grocer to vet suppliers more carefully than a discount chain, the high omega-6 to omega-3 ratio still promotes the exact systemic inflammation that drives age-related heart disease. You paid $8 for an oil that tested no better than the $3 bottle. That is not a premium product. That is a surcharge on misplaced trust. The next brand on this list trades on a glamorous name and decades of shelf presence, and it tells you almost nothing about what is actually inside. Number 3. Hollywood. The name screams premium. It sounds expensive, exclusive, sophisticated, Surely a brand called Hollywood would hold itself to a higher standard than the budget bottles. It does not. The brand has undergone multiple ownership changes and now provides almost no public information about where its sunflower seeds are sourced. No published data on pesticide testing. No refining specifications made available to consumers. No third-party lab results anywhere. A name this memorable should have the test results to match. Instead, it has nothing but silence and a pretty label. Hold the bottle up to the light. That perfect clarity, that completely neutral appearance tells you nothing good. It is a sign that every identifying compound, every beneficial nutrient, every antioxidant has been refined out. The oil has been stripped, bleached, and deodorized until there is nothing left to distinguish it from any other industrially processed bottle on any shelf in America. The only thing premium about Hollywood is the label design. For anyone managing hypertension with daily medication, or families who chose this brand because the name felt more trustworthy than a generic, an oil with unknown pesticide residue levels is particularly concerning because certain agrochemical residues have been shown to interfere with blood pressure regulation and kidney filtration over extended periods. You are trusting your health to a name, not to science, not to testing, not to any form of accountability. Hollywood has had decades to publish a single lab report. They never have. A red carpet brand with a back alley supply chain. What about a brand with a European name? Surely that means Mediterranean quality and higher standards. Let us find out. Number 2. Iberia. In ethnic grocery stores across the country, Iberia is a household name. The European-sounding brand evokes images of olive groves, coastal sunshine, and Mediterranean tradition. That image is carefully constructed and deliberately misleading. Iberia sunflower oil is imported in bulk from industrial operations. And here is where it gets genuinely alarming. Various Iberia-branded products have been flagged in FDA import alerts for failing to meet United States standards. Not the sunflower oil specifically flagged every time, but products spanning the brand's entire portfolio. When a company's product lines repeatedly trigger federal import alerts, that is not an isolated quality issue. That is a systemic pattern of quality control failure that casts a shadow over everything the company puts on American shelves. Open the bottle. The smell is slightly off. Not rancid exactly, but not fresh. That borderline quality is the signature of oil that has traveled thousands of miles in bulk containers, exposed to temperature fluctuations and light degradation long before being rebottled for retail. For people with pre-existing kidney disease who need to minimize their toxin exposure daily, or anyone consuming this oil in family cooking every single night. Imported oils with inconsistent quality controls may carry elevated levels of heavy metals or oxidation byproducts that further burden organs already under serious strain. You trusted the name because it sounded European. The FDA's own records tell a very different story. European name. FDA warning flags. The Mediterranean fantasy crumbles the moment you read the import records. We have exposed 10 brands. 10 bottles you have probably bought without a second thought. But the number one spot belongs to a brand that nearly every American household trusts completely. And it might be the most dangerous one on this entire list. Number 1. Goya. The yellow label. The name that has been in American kitchens for generations. Goya is more than a brand. It is a cultural institution. It is the oil families reach for without thinking, without questioning, without reading a single word on the back of the label. That blind trust is exactly what makes this so dangerous. Goya has received FDA warning letters for facility violations across its product lines. Not a single isolated incident. Repeated federal citations regarding the conditions under which their food products are manufactured and handled. Meanwhile, independent testing of budget-imported sunflower oils has repeatedly revealed higher than expected levels of oxidation markers in the finished product. What does that mean in plain language? The oil may already be partially degraded before it ever reaches your shelf. You open the bottle thinking it is fresh. It is not. You heat it in a pan thinking you are cooking safely. You are accelerating the breakdown of an oil that was already breaking down before you bought it. That sizzle in the pan. That faint, acrid note when the oil hits high heat. That is oxidized fat releasing free radicals directly into your food and into the air above your stove. Pour it over a salad. Drizzle it on bread. You are eating rancid fat dressed up as a trusted kitchen staple. For anyone over 50 managing cardiovascular risk, or families who have cooked with Goya faithfully for decades, consuming pre-oxidized sunflower oil floods the body with free radicals that damage blood vessel walls, accelerate cognitive decline, and dramatically increase the risk of heart attack and stroke. FDA warning letters. Oxidation before you even twist off the cap. A cultural icon that never earned the health trust millions of families gave it freely. Your loyalty deserved so much better than this. What is the worst cooking oil experience you have ever had? A rancid bottle, a strange smell, and oil that ruined a meal? Drop it in the comments below. 11 brands exposed. 11 broken promises hiding in plain sight on grocery shelves across America. But do not give up on sunflower oil entirely. 2 brands prove it can still be done the right way. Safe pick 1. Chosen Foods. This is what sunflower oil is supposed to be. Chosen Foods uses an expeller-pressed extraction method. No hexane, no chemical solvents. Just mechanical pressure applied to sunflower seeds the way it has been done for centuries before the petrochemical industry got involved. That single difference changes everything about what ends up in your bottle. Because hexane extraction does not just pull out oil. It strips away the vitamin E and antioxidants that make sunflower oil nutritionally valuable in the first place. Expeller pressing preserves them. Open a bottle of Chosen Foods. The color is warmer, more golden than any brand on the avoid list. The smell carries a faint nuttiness that tells you something real is still inside. Pour it into a pan and notice the difference immediately. It heats evenly, smokes at the temperature it should, and does not leave that faint chemical edge that cheaper oils deposit on your food. The brand carries non-GMO project verification and publishes its sourcing origins so you can trace the oil back to where it began. And the bottles are opaque, not clear. That matters because light triggers oxidation, and every brand on the avoid list sells oil in clear plastic, guaranteeing degradation on the shelf. For anyone managing cardiovascular health with daily medication, or families looking for an oil they can actually cook with every day without second-guessing the choice, the retained vitamin E acts as a natural antioxidant that supports heart health and protects against the oxidative stress that accelerates aging. This is not marketing language on a pretty label. This is what sunflower oil does when you stop destroying it during processing. Safe pick 2. La Tourangelle Organic Sunflower Oil. If Chosen Foods is what sunflower oil should be, La Tourangelle is what it can be at its absolute best. This is a French artisan oil producer that makes sunflower oil in small batches using traditional pressing methods. Not industrial extraction. Not hexane soaking. Traditional mechanical pressing that prioritizes quality and flavor over mass production volume. The difference shows in every detail. La Tourangelle is USDA certified organic and non-GMO project verified. But certifications alone are not what set it apart. The company maintains full traceability from field to bottle and publishes quality standards that exceed industry norms. They do not rotate anonymous contract manufacturers the way store brands do. They control the entire process. Open the bottle. The aroma is warm, almost sweet, distinctly sunflower. Compare that to the flat emptiness of every brand we expose today. This oil smells like actual food because it still is food. It has not been bleached, deodorized, or chemically stripped into anonymity. The natural phytosterols remain intact. Those are the plant compounds that actively help manage cholesterol levels. They survive in minimally processed oil and are destroyed by industrial refining. For people managing cholesterol or blood pressure with daily medication, or health-conscious families who want an oil that works with the body rather than quietly against it, La Tourangelle delivers minimal oxidation and none of the hidden inflammatory compounds that interfere with heart or blood pressure prescriptions. It costs about $7 to $9. About what Hollywood charges for mystery oil in a glamorous wrapper. Except this one earns the price. 11 brands exposed. Your cooking oil should nourish you, not harm you. Subscribe now, and if you are watching on TV, tap your remote so you never get blindsided again.